Here's the very few items that were left in the actual toolbox itself in the bottom drawer. Starrett dial calipers, which is kind of ironic that I finally find one of these, and the estate that I get it out of, the dial calipers that I get, aren't the type that have the box that will fit this. So these are the red-faced ones. I don't know if these are metric or are they just... I have thousands. This is just the typical set of 120s. These are 120s A's. I don't know if that makes a difference. I'll have to look them up, but I doubt it. So they'll clean up nice. They work perfectly fine. Is this a Leatherman? No, this is some other kind of deal here. Well, a little deburring tool somebody made for themselves. A little tri-corner type. So these are nowhere near as impressive as the aforementioned. These say stainless china. Oh yeah. As cheesy as these are, my son would love these. Oh yeah, he could take these right to school and get expelled because of that blade that's on there. I can't believe if this is another ancient Lufkin radius gauge set. No, it's not. Thank goodness. I think it's an ancient Lufkin parallel set. Yeah, it sure is. Lufkin 915 ABCD. Geez, you think that's been around for a while? Look at that. I think these aren't the original screws on that one there. Cripes. Wow. 2 different estates recently. I ended up with Lufkin radius gauge sets that looked every bit as prehistoric as this does. That's why I thought maybe it might be what it is. This is actually a little bit better parallels. And what do we have here? Starrett 196. Oh no. Oh yeah, okay, I remembered seeing this when I was doing my factoring on what I was willing to pay for this lot. I took into account that there is the ubiquitous Starrett DTI. You do not see a lot of Starrett DTIs, and I had no problem at all selling the last one. This is a half thousandths indicator, 0.0005. It's a Starrett model 709A, and it works perfectly. No problem with that. A couple of accessories and a filthy Starrett case. Alright, bear with me, we're in the home stretch. This is what was in the lid of the top box. It was held in by like a metal band to keep it from falling out. Got a calculator, and you know the funny thing is it's a little cheapy one, but it's actually decent enough to have trig functions. So which is pretty much what you need for a machinist. You want your sine, cosine for your angles and all that stuff. So we got a couple of these Starrett little plastic coated cards. Table. Ah, yes, I've got a couple of these. Trigonometry tables and handy references for engineers. Draft angles. Tulip electronics. Oh no, this is cool. This is some kind of a different kind of deal here. It's a calculator. Okay. Wrench clearance data. Never seen that before. Huh. Formulas for finding functions of angles. So they basically let you know that sine is the side opposite over the hypotenuse. Machinery's Handbook Pocket Companion. Oh, that's cool. I don't have one of these. Now I do. Alright. And the Machine Shop CNC Training Manual. Oh, look at this. I could just go, oh, wait a minute. Okay. I don't know what the hell we got. This looks like a notebook. Any red light lit is active. Well, those are words to live by, my friend. Also, in the toolbox in this pick was this colossal set of digital calipers, which would be something to maybe get excited about, except for the fact that they're completely unmarked, indicating that they are Chinesium squared. And to make matters worse, they don't turn on. Of course, he gave me the old, it probably just needs a battery, which I mean might be the case. I guess we really should check them to see whether or not this is, worth anything. Do you like apples? Well, these things actually work. How do you like them apples? Let's see. So let me hold it down, maybe that clears it. No, maybe hold this down and clears it. No, that shuts it off. Alright, hold on. Clears it. Oh, come on, guys. One of these must clear it. That changes its metric to millimeters to decimal. Okay, this is weird. So imagine my luck that I was actually, even though I have no idea who made these calipers, I was actually able to find an operator's manual for these calipers. What I did was I searched ABS/INC button on Google, and one of the first things that came up was a PDF for a set of digital dial calipers made by a company called Baty, or sold by Baty, B-A-T-Y. They're calling them Large Digital Workshop Caliper. And I was like, oh, what are the odds? But it turns out, sure enough, here's a picture of the Baty calipers right here, and the button layout is identical. So, now that I know what buttons do what, I was able to determine that apparently these two buttons aren't working, which is what the problem is. So the caliper seems to be working perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, you can see it's 4.799 inches. 40.799 inches, but if I go all the way out to the end and I come all the way back, they actually return to, within a half a thou, which is pretty good. So the point is they're repeating, so I think the calipers are actually working. The problem is you can't select absolute measurement, and the set button right here is actually what's supposed to clear this. So this is supposed to, when I press this, this is supposed to go to 0. And also when I press this, it's supposed to be able to switch modes and actually tell me, what mode it's gone into. So that's not working. Interestingly enough, these two buttons right here, it doesn't explain what they do. I'll have to look further down in the manual, but in the initial description of buttons, it doesn't even tell you what these buttons do. I've never seen these buttons on a digital caliper before, so my suspicion is that these two buttons are not working, and maybe with a little bit of luck it'd just be a matter of cleaning the pads with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. So I think I got nothing to lose, so I think I might just open this up and see if I can't clean it. Alright, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I took out the 4 screws, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, that appear to be what would hold this on. And just gently pulling straight up on this whole cover. So far so good. Alright, I actually do see a little bit of evidence here that maybe these calipers have gotten wet with something, possibly coolant. You can see right in this area here there's a little bit of corrosion. And actually one of the 4 screws, the one that I took out from here, actually this top left corner screw also had a little bit of corrosion on it. So it looks like I'm going to have to take all of these screws out to get this black plastic piece off to expose the actual circuit board and the pads that these little buttons touch. Not only had these gotten wet at some point, there's actually still evidence of some coolant or whatever it is that got on these things left behind in here. Okay, all those screws appear to be the same size. You can see there's still a little bit of residue on here. So now the question is, how do we get this board? Don't appear to be any other fasteners holding this plastic piece onto the board. Might be a matter of just gently prying the board off. I don't know if these brass sleeves that the screws go through, if they're pressed into there or what the deal is. What if they did some kind of dirty pool here and made this so that it's a one-shot deal and not made to be disassembled? Huh. Well, I've put the maximum amount of pressure that I dare put in prying in this area right here to try and get this to separate, and it's not budging at all. I even tried taking an X-Acto knife blade and wedging it in here, and that edge is really tight. So looking at this under strong magnification, it appears to me like maybe these brass sleeves are inserted from this side during manufacturing and then peened over like a rivet on this back side to retain this board in. So the only remedy I can think of at this point is possibly drilling out this end a little bit. So I'm going to try on one of these. I'm going to try and drill one out and see whether or not I can then drive out the remainder of that pin or sleeve, and that would confirm my suspicion. I can't make it any worse. They're not really usable if you can't set them to 0. I decided not to do the one at the corner. I decided to try that one first in case it didn't work, but no sooner did I just slightly, drill off the top part of that, and now I'm able to actually stick this blade in where I couldn't before a little bit. So I think I'm on the right track. Well, it didn't take long for me to realize that by using the right size punch, I could actually push these little riveted areas right through, because the PC board, where they ended up peening that rivet over, PC board material is really thin. The ones that are now flush on this side, I can tell are the ones that I was able to push through successfully. So I see now that I still need to do a little work on these two and this corner. There we go. We're in. I was really hoping to see some definitive contamination or something on the board. I don't see squat. It actually looks pretty clean. Well, guys, I managed to get this thing back together, and it's working perfect. So although I didn't see any contamination on the buttons, whatever was on there that was causing a problem, cleaning it off took care of it. The other thing I did was these two buttons here, which even the owner's manual that I did find online doesn't really explain what these two buttons are for. I swapped these two buttons with these two buttons. So that also may have, that may have had something to do with rectifying the issue. But now you can see when I press the absolute versus incremental button, it works perfectly fine. It doesn't say ABS when it's in ABS mode. It's when it's not showing incremental, it's in ABS mode. And then of course, if I move it, I hit the set button, it zeroes out. It's in millimeters right now. I could change it back to inches. And it's still doing a good job of coming back to zero. So nothing wrong with these. I might hold on to these for now. I don't know. I don't have a pair of 16-inch digital calipers. So, and they're not super expensive. They're imports, clearly, just by the fact that they're not marked in any other way as to the manufacturer. So I did clean this up. This cleaned up really nice, actually. The only thing really now is this is peeling up over here. It's plastic, but no big deal. I kind of like this. Oh, the only other thing too, there's supposed to be a locking nut right here. I've actually got a few extra ones of those laying around. I'll have to see if I have one that fits that. All right, moving along. Well, all right, enough messing around with that digital caliper. Yeah, I bet you the guy knew that digital caliper didn't work when he was selling it to me. But I bet you what he didn't know was that I was going to be able to fix it. All right, here's the last box. Now, hopefully there's some jewels in here that I don't see right off the bat. Deburring tool. Sounds like there's quite a few cutters in it, though. It says it's a metric thread pitch gauge. Good size one. Got a lot of leafs. I doubt it's a Sterret. Let's see what wonderful brand this is. Hey, it's a Mitutoyo. Not bad. I was expecting something even cheaper. I don't know if I've ever had a Mitutoyo branded thread pitch gauge. Huh. Well, ain't that special. Funky little brass hammer. Junk. Little tap wrench. Gorilla. That's a big thread pitch. Hold on, what is this? Stainless steel bolt sizer thread pitch gauge. Well, that's interesting. So I guess the theory behind this is like if you want to sort your bolts and figure out what they are, you see whether it fits through, which one of these holes it fits through to size it, and then you come over here on this side and check your thread pitch. Huh. I've never seen one like that. Mildly interesting. File card for cleaning your files. It's another deburring tool. I've never seen a no-go with that kind of a cutter on it, though. And then there's a whole bunch of these little ones here. Another one of these little cheap picks. Loctite super glue. Ultra gel. Probably all dried out. Another solid carbide cutter. Another hunk of brass. More files. Standard Tools brand gauge. This looks like a drill point gauge. Yep, RPM based on the following diameter, so they give you a little quick high-speed drill. High-speed steel drill bit RPM chart. Kind of neat. There's another one of these. Well, this one's SAE. I wonder if this one's metric. Yeah, this is the metric, and this is the SAE version. Okay, cool. Proto Punch. Nice drill bit. Small thread. Oh, another C604 Sterret 6-inch scale satin chrome. Big Sharpie. Hey. Yellow. See what that is? And I can already tell it's going to be the correct one because it's a perfect match for this one. Alright. Oh, that's a nice little find. Let's see. This looks like a pretty anemic looking tap wrench. Oddly enough, it's actually a Craftsman. Oh, hold the phone, guys. I was just putting this stuff away, and you know, I said this was a Craftsman tap wrench. Well, I happen to remember that I had this 50-piece tap and die set that was pretty much completed. It was missing. I remembered it was missing one of the wrenches, and turns out I already have this one. But that made me wonder whether or not this was, since this was loose in there too. And sure enough, this is the Craftsman wrench that I'm missing for this set. So that's kind of nice. So that makes that I think an almost complete set. Some of these fall out, they don't stay in their positions, but it's kind of nice. Oh well. Not much to get excited about, but it's a little something. Better than nothing. Some stones, files, box of stones. Stones, man. This is a box for tips for soft face hammers. Well, they're not in there. And some junk, and oh, look at that, another one of these protractors, and this one says made in the USA. Looks just like a General Hardware one, but it doesn't have any part number on it or anything. So, huh. Alrighty. And that's it. Wow. Alright. So, kind of going out with a whimper here. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I think by the time this video posts, I will have broken the 15,000 subscriber barrier, and I'd like to thank all of you who are currently subscribers for hanging in there. Take care.